So you're here to hear all about the Manolo Hangisis. Well, I have a question for you. How would you feel if this happened to your shoes? Your very expensive £795 shoes. And welcome to my channel. I'm Andri. Today's video is all about the Manolo Blahnik Hangisis and how they have held up or how they haven't held up, how Harvey Nichols has dealt with my complaint of the shoes, and Manolo Blahnik's reaction to Harvey Nichols regarding my shoes. But before we get into all of that, I invite you to subscribe if you haven't already. Whilst you're there, you can ding-a-ling my bell, which will remind you every time I upload a video. Now go grab yourself your favourite beverage, because let me tell you, you're certainly gonna need it when you see how these shoes have held up. Cheers! So these are my Manolo Blahnik Hangisis. These were purchased in 2017. They are the Hangisis in ivory satin. So they are 100% satin. They are 100% calf skin inside and 100% leather underneath. And they 100% have the ornament glued on. Yes, glued on. Now this hasn't just happened on the one shoe, it has happened on both shoes. But I'm going to get right into that for you. So I purchased them in 2017 from Harvey Nichols. Within a year of wearing them, although Harvey Nichols say it's just over the year. But anyway, let's say for talking sake, and I'll read you the email. Let me actually give you the specifics. So I bought these on the 2nd of the 7th, 2017 at 15:46. You couldn't be more precise than that. And on the, let's see here, what is the, okay, on the 14th of the 7th, 18, I returned these to Harvey Nichols. Now, that doesn't mean to say that that's when it happened, because I wore these on a hen night when the right hand, left, right, yeah, the right hand ornament fell off, okay? So, the 14th of the 7th was when the year 2018 was when I returned them back to Harvey Nichols because the ornament fell off. So, you know, let's, for talking sake, we'll call it within a year. I returned the shoes, and Harvey Nichols said to me that what they would do for me as a gesture of goodwill would be to return them to whoever they return them to. Does it even say here? No, it doesn't even say. But they would send them to who they use to fix all their designer shoes. I agreed to that at the time. So basically, my right shoe looked like this. When I bought them in 2017, I wore them for my granddaughter's christening, and that was it. And then I wore them again to my friend's daughter's hen do, and that's when the ornament fell off the right shoe. And it was really lucky that somebody had found the ornament. You know, somebody had recognised that I had been wearing the shoes and said, are you missing anything, and gave me the ornament, which was really lucky, because I don't know how they would have reacted if I didn't have the ornament. But anyway, I had the ornament, I returned them, they sent them away. That was the only offer they gave me, and they said they were doing that as a gesture of goodwill because their guarantee only held up for 6 months at Harvey Nichols. At that time, I did phone up Manolo, and as far as Manolo was concerned, it was nothing to do with them. The responsibility was with Harvey Nichols, and that's why I took it up with Harvey Nichols. But my first reaction was to get in touch with Manolo, and they told me to get in touch with Harvey Nichols, and Harvey Nichols sent them away and fixed them. And that was all well and good. All they did was they put the buckle back on. They glued the buckle back on the shoe. They didn't clean them up. They didn't make them look nice. That was all they did. And they sent them back to me. And that was it. They sent them back to Harvey Nichols. Harvey Nichols phoned me up and I picked my shoes up. And then I never ever wore the shoes again until this year, 2021. We've been in lockdown, you know, we've had a pandemic. I haven't been going out anywhere. This type of shoe, I forgot that the ornament wasn't stuck on. Anyway, so it's not the type of shoe that you can wear on an everyday basis. I know we see some influencers wearing them with denims and all of that. Listen, this is an ivory coloured shoe. It's not going to happen with me. I'm not going to wear it on an everyday basis. It's a satin shoe. It's a special occasion shoe. A few weeks ago, a month ago, I can't remember now, we were at the Balmoral and I wore them to dine at the One. So we were upstairs in the Balmoral in our room, and I simply walked down to the restaurant, didn't even go outside with them, and I wore them to dinner. And that was the third time I wore the shoes. So I wore them to my granddaughter's christening, I wore them to the Hindu, then the third time was at the Balmoral. And they were fine at the Balmoral. Then a few weeks later, a few weeks ago, I wore them to a friend's 40th birthday party. That was it. I wore them in the house. I got into the taxi at my front door. From the taxi, which stopped at the front door of the place we were going to for the 40th, I walked into the place. And yeah, so I was up dancing, and when I walked back to the table, my son was literally sitting there like this. Have you lost something, mother? And let me tell you, on both occasions that this happened, it is very, very, very embarrassing, and everybody else finds it highly amusing. Honestly, you know, you spend that amount of money on a pair of shoes, you do not expect the ornament to fall off the shoe. In fact, you don't expect the ornament to be simply glued on. Not at all. Anyway, let me just show you the packaging quickly. So this is the packaging of the shoes. This is what it looks like. It's very plain packaging. It just says Manolo there. It says Manolo there. They come in a dust bag each, and it's very simple packaging. Okay, that is, I just thought, as we're here, as I have the packaging, I'll show you that as well. So anyway, I was horrified when this happened again. I could not believe that it wasn't just the one shoe it happened to the other shoe as well. 4 times I have worn these shoes, and twice out of the 4 times the ornament has fallen off, one on each shoe. Again, like I said, I was lucky enough that both times I found the ornament. So I decided to get in touch with Harvey Nichols, and they said, well, you know, they knew full well that, you know, how the shoes were and all of that. I told them that during our phone conversation. They said we would have to see the shoes. I emailed them the pictures of the shoes. I mean, really, I mean, come on. What else can one say? The ornament has fallen off the shoe. There's nothing more to be said. But anyway, they wanted the shoes in person. So we drove to Harvey Nichols and I left the shoes there, and they didn't get back in touch with me for a week. So I phoned them back within the week and asked them what was going on. They said they were still looking into them and that they were going to get in touch with Manolo as well. Incidentally, when I took them the first time to Harvey Nichols, the manager at Harvey Nichols, who also dealt with this shoe by the way, the manager at Harvey Nichols that I spoke to the first time, she said to me that this happens because the glue dries up and the ornament falls off. Now, I know when I posted this on my Instagram, many of you were very surprised that the ornament is simply glued on, that it isn't sewn on. So basically, this is how the shoe looks. There is this piece of material, I don't know what this material is, anyway, there's a piece of material stuck onto the shoe, and then the buckle, which looks like so they've stuck some of the satin there which matches the actual shoe. Then underneath you can see there's this metal plate here, there's this spongy bit here, and that'll be the material that matches the shoe. And then that is simply glued on with the ugliest of glues. And this is the problem. When you're wearing these out and this happens, your night is ruined. Because you're not going to look, I mean, seriously, it is so ugly that it ruined, I mean, it ruined both my nights. It ruined the night when I was out for the hen do and when I was out for the 40th, because you know I'm not going to get up and dance, I'm not going to walk anywhere, it's embarrassing. I don't want to be seen like this, you know. And you know, people find it highly amusing because they'll say, I bet that wouldn't have happened if you bought yourself a pair of shoes out of Primark. I bet it wouldn't have happened either. I mean seriously, who would expect that to happen? And the lame excuse that I was given that the glue dries up and that happens, come on. Anyway, so that's to be expected, you know, if you store the shoes in a closed box and all of that. So when that happened to me the first time and I got them back, I made sure my shoes sit on the shelf like this, no sunlight, no nothing, like all my other shoes. I don't keep sunlight in this room at all because of, yeah, no. And so I stored them in the way that Harvey Nichols then told me to store them so that wouldn't happen again. So I did not expect this to happen again. So as far as I was concerned, I was sold faulty shoes. I have really scanned YouTube to see if this has happened to anybody else. I have put it on my Instagram. So many people have these shoes and it hasn't happened to anybody else. And this is why I kept saying to Harvey Nichols, these are faulty shoes. I would like a replacement for the shoes. Now, when I went there, they did mention sending them away to get them fixed. Now, I didn't say I wouldn't accept that. But what I did say to them was what I was looking for was a replacement. But at no point in time did I say I would not accept the shoes being fixed. I said to them I would wait for the outcome. I would wait to hear what Manolo said and what the hierarchy, the higher manager, because you know there's a manager and then there's a manager's manager and a manager's manager's manager. You know, I don't know how many managers I spoke to, but I do know that the manager that dealt with them the first time also dealt with them the second time, because they said when I took them into Harvey Nichols, oh, the manager that dealt with you the first time, because they could see it all on the paperwork that I had, is still here, so we'll talk to her about it. And I spoke to her as well, and that's why I kept saying to him these shoes must be faulty. For it to happen to both shoes, there's obviously something wrong with whatever glue that they've used, that it's happened again, that it's happened to both shoes. So I believed it went back to manufacturing. They got in touch with Manolo's. Apparently, according to Harvey Nichols, Manolo said this was expected to happen because of the glue and there was no fault in the manufacturing process at all. And I'm now going to read you the emails just so you can get a proper understanding and see what's going on. So I asked them to put everything in writing in an email. I had said to them I had spoken to somebody with regards to the shoes. I never at any point said to them that I had spoken to a lawyer. They made the assumption that I spoke to a lawyer, although I have friends that are lawyers and I'd spoken to them about it, but in a kind of a friendship type of way, like, what do you think, what, you know, that kind of thing. But they assumed that I went to the official grounds of speaking to a lawyer, and I'm just telling you this so you get the gist of what's going on in the emails. Okay, so the emails are headed customer experience from Harvey Nichols. I'll insert them here for you. Dear Andri, further to our conversation on Thursday 26th of August 2021, as requested, please find below the timeline regarding your Manolo Blahnik shoes. 2nd July 2017, you purchased a pair of ivory Manolo Blahnik Hangisi shoes. 14th of July 2018, you got in touch to advise that the ornament on the right shoe had come away. The shoes were sent by ourselves to an official Manolo Blahnik cobbler in London to have this reattached. This was a goodwill gesture as the shoes were over a year old, the cost of which for both reattaching the ornament and postage both ways was absorbed by Harvey Nichols. 15th August 2021, you got in touch to advise that the ornament on the other shoe had come away. Despite the shoes now being over 4 years old, I again offered as a goodwill gesture to send the shoes off to the cobbler in London. On this occasion, this offer was declined by yourself as you stated you wanted a replacement pair. Given your dissatisfaction with the solution offered, I subsequently consulted with both the cobbler and Manolo. Both agreed that this issue is not as a result of manufacturing fault and advised that over time, in addition to other effects of wear, the glue can sometimes dry out, causing this to happen. It was confirmed that this was something they could make good. I have spoken to my senior manager regarding your shoes, and she has agreed that due to the length of time since the purchase was made, we are not prepared to offer a replacement pair. Regrettably, I will have to send the shoes back to yourself. Please note they were not brought to us in their original box, only in their dust bags. I appreciate that this is not the outcome you had hoped for and apologise for any disappointment caused. And then she goes on to say, I understand you have contacted a lawyer yourself regarding this. However, please find below the link to the retail ombudsman should you wish to take this matter further. Kind regards, blah blah blah. And to this email I replied, Dear Suzanne, thank you for your email. I would like to clarify that at no point have I turned down an offer to repair my shoes. In actual fact, during our telephone conversation during the week, I specifically asked if you were willing to at least repair the Manolos, to which the reply was no. To clarify, are you now offering to repair the shoes? Kind regards, Andri. To which the reply was, Dear Andri, thank you for your response. During the initial conversation, the offer to repair was given in which you expressed that you did not wish for a repair to be done. Incorrect. As you believed the shoes were not fit for purpose. You advised, well, seriously, does this make them fit for purpose? Would you wear the shoes like this? Come on. But, you know, I mean, when you wear the shoes and that happens, they're not fit for purpose. Anyway, back to the emails. You advised that you wanted a replacement pair, and as we were not able to facilitate this, the shoes have been returned to you. As such, no repair will be offered. And then I just replied, Dear Suzanne, just to clarify, what I said was I would decide on my decision once your manager gave her opinion and decision. As you have already returned my shoes, can you please forward tracking number, which they did. So that was the emails that took place with Harvey Nichols. Please let me know in the comments, you know, your opinion of this situation. At the moment, I haven't decided yet if it's worth continuing the saga, like going to the ombudsman and blah blah blah, or simply taking them and having them fixed myself. I mean, I'm at that stage now where, you know, these are a beautiful shoe. Are they worth £795? At this point, I'd like to say a lot of the time these shoes are reduced. So personally, I wouldn't pay full price for these shoes. Personally, that's just my opinion. You know, when it comes to designer wear, are any of these designer things worth what we pay for them? These are an ivory satin. They're gonna get dirty very, very quickly. That is expected. That I expect to happen. What I don't expect to happen is for the ornament of the shoe to fall off the second time I wear them and the fourth time I wear them. That I do not expect from the Manolos. Now this is coming from somebody that has not been gifted the shoes, that has not been, you know, paid to review the shoes. This comes from your ordinary person that simply loved the shoes and wanted a pair of Manolos. It's as simple as that. I mean, if I had to be honest, I still love the shoes. I'm totally gutted this has happened to my beautiful shoes. I really, really and honestly am. And if I hadn't had such poor service from Harvey Nichols or Manolo, I probably would have purchased another pair. I would have loved to have added, you know, a blue pair. I'm now considering a pair of dupes. I'm not very good with dupes because when my heart, you know, wants something, it wants something. But really, come on, look at this. I mean, it's an absolute disgrace. You know, I was talking to my friend about these shoes, and she says if the way you store the shoes can cause this, should they not have that in, you know, as part of your care instructions in the box, saying that your ornaments glued on, mate? Store them in a place where it's not going to dry them out. Seriously, I mean, every part of the shoe is glued on, is it not? Should the shoe fall apart? I mean, because it's going to dry out, because the glue's going to dry out? Really? Come on, look, have a look at the shoes. Look at this. You can see the shoes have only been worn 4 times. I mean, you can see, yes, there's wear here because, you know. But, I mean, look at this. The shoes have, honestly, only been worn 4 times, and that's happened. You know, my friend also asked me the question, who am I most annoyed with, Manolo or Harvey Nichols? Well, the person I'm dealing with directly is Harvey Nichols. I am really, really disappointed in their service. Absolutely. But in all honesty, I'm as equally disappointed in the product of Manolo and Manolo themselves. A lot of you asked me on my Instagram, did I tweet about it? I did tweet about it. I tweeted tagging both Harvey Nichols and Manolo. Neither of them responded. You know, I've tweeted in the past about Louis Vuitton, about, you know, service with Louis Vuitton, and they have dealt with it. Give them their dues. Louis Vuitton dealt with it. Manolo, blinkers, nothing, no response to any of my tweets at all. And, you know, everybody kind of just, it's not their fault. It's apparently my fault for the first time storing them in their box, which, can I add, the box was open, but I did sit them in the box. And the second time, well, they were 4 years old, even though I'd only worn them 4 times. And I keep saying that because I honestly, because it's that type of shoe, you remember each and special occasion that you've worn them, and that's why I know exactly when and where and how many times I wore these shoes. So if you're considering buying these shoes, have it in mind. If you're considering ever buying anything from Harvey Nichols, just remember their guarantee only holds out for 6 months. They're only responsible for the product they're selling you for 6 months. That's it. So I'm very disappointed with them. And as for Manolo, well, your products are pretty poor if this happens. That's what I'm saying. Yes, they may be beautiful, but your customer service is poor and your product is pretty poor if this happens the second time you wear a pair of your shoes. It's very poor in my opinion. That's all I'm saying. So that's my thoughts on Harvey Nichols, on Manolo, on the Hangisis. And if you still want to purchase the shoes, of course, that's totally up to yourself. I would absolutely love for you to share this video. I think the more people that know about it, the better. Because like I said, there's a lot of influencers out there, you know, going on about these shoes, bearing in mind a lot of them are gifted these shoes. Not all, but most of them are gifted these shoes, like a lot of things. So think about that when you're purchasing the shoes. If you would like to see what the shoes look like when this ornament was off, if you go into my Instagram and tap on my highlights, I do have highlights for the Manolos on both occasions that the ornament fell off, so you can have a look at the footage there that, you know, did actually happen to both pairs of shoes, and you can see them, what they look like within a year of them happening and then just more recently. So that's my thoughts on the Manolo Blahnik Hangisis, on Harvey Nichols and Manolo Blahnik. But if you would like to see more videos on me, I'm going to link one here, here, and if you're not already subscribed, just press the A right here, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers to honesty.